38 in Trinidad and Tobago. It is the story that will dominate the world for the rest of the year and certainly for much of 2021 at the very least, the way things are going. Well, you may be one of the millions globally who now have to work from home as a result of COVID-19. Though it has a nice ring to it, working from home, pajamas and things, relaxing, probably working halfway, that sort of thing. But working from home may not be the smooth transition for everyone. Or perhaps you're in that other category, the millions who now have reduced income or none at all. And you've just started your own business. Now that is a hit. Imagine you've been working years on this fantastic idea. You just launch it as COVID-19 hit and you're in serious trouble. How do you adjust to this new world of business? Well, Carla Williams-Johnson, media marketing consultant with Carli Communications, joins us now. Thanks very much for being able to join us this morning, Ms. Williams-Johnson. So it's a different world, a difficult world. How do we cope?
Well, good morning. And yes, it is indeed a very difficult world that we're living in right now. Things have just been, thrust upon us, and it's just up to us to really kind of move and pivot and change the way that we see things and do things to really make it and survive and thrive during COVID-19.
Of course, that is easier said than done. And many people will be asking themselves, how do we do that? Is this something that established businesses will find very difficult to do? Or is it something that could be a smooth, relatively painless transition?
I would say it would be a smooth, relatively painless transition. What I do think will have to happen, though, is that we have to be very creative and very strategic with the way that we do things. So very simple things like adding a delivery option, adding an online option. And these things are very important when it is that we are transitioning to the new world. Also, the way that we use social media will have to change. The type of content that we post will have to change, because now we have to really connect with our audience that is going through so much uncertainty right now. So you have to, kind of connect with them in a way that calms them down, tells them that you understand what it is that they're feeling and they're dealing with, and then show them what your product or service can help them with during this time.
Well, you're in the business of communication, so this comes natural to you. But what about the established businessman or woman who says, look, I doing business 30, 40 years. Me really need to talk to the customer. That is on the shop floor. They go deal with that and so on. But now it's a different world where you're online, where customers having their reviews, communicating with one another. I don't like how this one talking to me, and so on and so forth, and that kind of thing. How difficult is it for us to transition mentally towards understanding the world of the online consumer?
Well, the thing is, it's a learning curve for all of us. As you say, if there is a business or business owner that has been around for 30 years, they may have gotten very accustomed to the way that they did things. And that was working for them before COVID, right? But now we're doing things differently. So it's really a learning curve. It's really about reaching out to persons like myself who understand how to connect with your audience and how to make things different and how to change things so that it makes sense for not only the business but for the consumer as well.
And as you mentioned that, and as you cued that in, let me just ask you to tell us, if people want to get more information through you and to get information on the services that you would offer, how do they do so?
Oh my goodness, you can check me out on my website at www.carlimedia.com, and I always post tips, tricks, and all different ways to, pivot for the COVID-19 on my Facebook and Instagram pages, and also my LinkedIn pages at Carli Communications. So you can always DM me there.
And as far as pivoting, it sounds like if you are very agile, if you're very nimble, you can pivot a lot easier. But you talk about tips and general advice. What's the sort of questions that you are getting from those who are reaching out to you, asking how could they take advantage of this challenging time that we live in?
Well, I think I can sum up all the questions into one. What do I do now? That's what everybody's asking. What am I supposed to do? Because they're seeing a lot of people doing all different things and they're not sure what is right for them. And the thing is, with marketing and advertising, it's not a one size fits all. So I understand the questions. What I would say is, really connect with somebody who can tell you exactly what your next steps forward might be. It could be social media. It could be public relations and getting PR. It could look like doing some sort of online series that connects with your audience. What you really need to do is figure out, really talk to someone who is accustomed and versed with this type of marketing and promotion, and really figure out what is right for your specific industry.
Does it suggest, Ms. Williams-Johnson, that what we are seeing now is an environment that places an even greater premium on service, that you could talk about many different things, and you could talk about the ease of online transactions and all of that sort of thing, but is service still a premium issue?
Yes, it is, and depending on the industry that you're in, it's necessary, because a lot of the clients that I've worked with, I have encouraged them to do things that are very different, very out of the ordinary for them, right? So that they can, remain seen and maintain that brand awareness for their business. And it has worked. Now, it was hard, right? Because they're not accustomed, or it's very different, right? But it is working. So it is possible indeed to make the change. It's just a matter of, are you willing to make that change? Are you willing to do what you need to do in order to beat this? Because this is just a season. This is gonna be over and done with faster than we know, right? Granted, it's a global pandemic, but it's going to pass. What you need to do is figure out, what do you need to do in order to stay top of mind.
I need to check your bio and see if you're related to Donald Trump, because you're the one who said this thing is going to pass. But from what people are seeing, Ms. Williams-Johnson, this is not going away anytime soon.
It will go away. Remember, everything is a season. It will go away. Now, it's going to take a while for it to pass globally. Like, we know that. There are other countries out there that are worse than how we are. So it will take maybe longer for them than it will for us. But there are things that you can still do. And that's the most important thing.
And in that, and you asked the question of people who call you, are you willing to make that change? Do you get that sense that people are willing to make that change, that they're ready for it?
Yes, they are. Most people are. I know a lot of people are dealing with, their business, and they have families, and, there's a lot of anxiety that people are dealing with, but they're willing. They're very willing. Most of the people, if not all of the people I speak to, they just want to know what to do. And I am very happy to tell them.
And just before I get a final thought from you, sometimes you wonder if it becomes too impersonal. Like, if someone has a website that's working beautifully, whether it's Amazon or whatever, or a Trini mini version of that sort of thing, that the whole human element is gone. I see something on the screen, I like the look, I like the price, I click on it, add it to my cart, it's shipped to me, I never talked to a human being since.
Well, that is changing. That is no more. You have to speak with a human being. You have to see a human being. There are some industries where they can probably walk you through how to use the product and why you need the product at this time, or the service at this time. So that click into cart, no human interaction, that has to change. Because unless you really connect and talk to and really find out what it is that your customers are dealing with, making sales are going to be incredibly, incredibly difficult.
All right, well, Carla Williams-Johnson, thanks very much for taking the time to be with us this morning from Carli Communications. You're more than welcome. So I'll research your bio to see if you have your family with Donald Trump anyway. Don't worry, to really find out, because to say that this thing's going to be over. So it sounds like the man who says you should inject yourself with disinfectant to try it out and see if it works. It's coming around towards 7:47 in Trinidad and Tobago. Do we have some footage for you that we want to show you now? Indeed, I think we're going to show that to you in a little while as we continue to get the scene as what is happening around Trinidad and Tobago, and indeed right here in the capital, downtown Port of Spain. But let's take a break and we'll come back right after that.